सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु.
Yagya is the fire ceremony. It has its origins in the texts and symbolism of the ancient Sanskrit works which we call the Veda. Yagya has a special place of importance in the story of Ram as recorded by Goswami Tulsidas. Through the power of a yagya, Ramji was born on this earth. He was born in a time of trouble. Evil was spreading. As a young boy, Ramji's first act to bring harmony to the world was to protect the performances of the yagya, which the evil forces were continuously trying to destroy. Yagya is performed for harmonizing the forces of nature and the community, for the well-being of all of us and Mother Earth. My name is Veer Bhadra Mishra. This film is about a famous Indian saint and poet, Goswami Tulsidas ji, his temple, the temple of Sankat Mochan Hanuman, and Indian tradition, the tradition of the Veda, Yagya, the Ramcharitmanas, and its performance, Katha and Leela. This film is about the heart of Indian tradition, a tradition uniting all beings and nature. This film is from Banaras, the holy city. Sankat Mochan Temple is a very important spiritual and cultural center of Banaras. Here everyone is welcome. And here we are reminded of the unselfish life and courageous and loving acts of Hanuman ji, as they are described by Tulsidas ji. Tulsidas ji's goal in life, his greatest wish was to find God and have the darshan of Lord Ram. This he attained after meeting Hanuman ji in the jungle of Sankat Mochan. During the lifetime of Tulsidas ji, his home at Tulsi Ghat and his temple at Sankat Mochan became the most important places of the Ram Katha, the telling of the story of Ram, and the Ram Leela, the dramatization of this story. When the community performs the yagya, it is common that there will also be the performance of Katha, the traditional telling of God's story, and Leela, the traditional dramatization of God's story. The message of all these performances and the underlying message of the Veda are the same. All performances lead us to God. Today, the large forest compound of the Sankat Mochan temple, the legacy of Tulsidas ji, presents a unique example of a harmonious community. All castes and classes of people are living together happily. The jutawala, the low caste person taking care of the pilgrim's shoes, earns as much or more than the Brahman priests performing sacred duties. Both are in service of Hanumanji. Both are needed and respected. There is no caste hierarchy. People living in this community have love and respect for each other.
A prominent Banarasi Brahmin speaks of a community built upon mutual love and respect, a community without caste hierarchy. Professor Veer Bhadra Mishra is the Mahant, the spiritual leader and protector of this community. Two famous Hanuman temples and a rich cultural legacy was established in the 16th century by the poet saint Tulsidas. For generations, Professor Mishra's family has resided in the same house on the bank of the Ganges, where Tulsidas lived and composed his Ramcharitmanas, the most famous version of the Ramayana epic, the story of the boy god Ram. Tulsidas wrote in the language of his time. His melodious version of the legend of Ram is often said to be the best known and most important religious text in India today.
Ramji sets an example for us in his worship of the Yagya, his worship of the unity and harmony of God's creation. He defeated the evil forces, the forces of ignorance. Similar to the community's performance of the Yagya in his journey through the Mandal of Mother India, Ramji united all of creation and restored universal harmony. The knowledge of the Veda was spread in his path. Very carefully, the Karmakandi, the Brahman expert for the Yagya, will study his texts and plan the ceremony. The ground which is used must be sanctified. The Yagya we have chosen to perform at Sankat Mochan is known as Sat Chandi Yagya. The spirit of the Mother Goddess is invoked in the Havan Kund. Her power is invoked 100 times by the fire ceremonies and the recitation of the Durga Saptashati. The natural surroundings of the site chosen for the Yagya of Sankat Mochan enhances the message and the experience. The Karmakandi, together with his disciples and members of the community, will closely supervise the construction of the sacred canopy, the Yagya Mandap.
भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। सहना भवतु सहनौ
The Yagya Mandap is a canopy comprised of bamboo poles supporting a thatched grass roof. All the materials are natural, coming directly from Mother Earth. Different members of the community donate what they can. The labor and money needed for the performance is also donated by the community. Everyone participates in some manner according to their heart and their own means.
For 6 months, the 9-day performance has been planned. The building of the sacred house takes approximately 10 days. A committee comprised of respected members from all sectors of the community has been organized. They are, in fact, carefully constructing a miniature universe with multitudes of detail.
Hundreds of different items are needed: grains, flowers, fruits, wood, cut grass, milk, cotton, bamboo and more. These are called the Yagya Samagri, the articles of Yagya. They are the donations of the community and used in the performance. Yagya is a collective act of the community where all sectors of society participate. Goswami Tulsidas is very, very important poet and saint in India today. He has written Ramcharitmanas, the story of Ram in Hindi, and which is combining, uniting the society like no other book, no other work in India is doing. The Ramcharitmanas is an epic, is a text which just encompasses the whole society. It's for rich and poor, for kings and subjects, for low and high caste people, and for people having different faith in India. That is, in Hinduism there are many sects, and so Tulsidas ji, I think, is liked and respected by all sects of Hinduism. And more than that, I would say that his message transcends the boundaries of India, caste and creed. He has given a message for the humankind, for all of us, and guides us in our walk of life in all possible ways.
Next to the sacred house of the fire ceremony, a performance stage is constructed. A huge tent supported by a network of bamboo scaffolding will protect both the stage and thousands of spectators from the battering monsoon rains. This too is a part of Yagya.
Each of the bamboo columns and each of the earthen pots represent the different gods and goddesses, the different spirits of nature. All aspects of divinity of nature are invoked. The mandap becomes a mandal, a miniature universe, Brahmand.
The complexity of the mandap, the ritual temple of the fire ceremony, reflects the complexity of the universe. In its entirety, the temple is known as Yagya Bhagwan, the aniconic divinity, the one supreme entity, Brahmand. Each unit of the macrocosmic mandap is in itself a mandal of smaller scale, a microcosmos, each highlighting particular aspects of the greater divine universe.
Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu.
18 earthen pots, kalash, are established around the perimeter. These water-filled pots, described in texts as the vessels of both Brahma, God as the creator, and Prajapati, the forefather of mankind, are the most ancient Vedic mandalic symbols. Similar to the earth, they contain the life sap of creation and sustenance. Each pot is placed on a bed of fertile soil, sown with the seeds of grain. Yagya is a ceremony of creation. A successful yagya brings life. Ten pots represent the Dikpal, the regional divine guardians, each having their own qualities, and each having their own association with one of the four different Varn, the four divisions of humanity that comprise the community. 8 pots, 2 on each side, are the Dvarpal, the guardians of the doors to the 4 cardinal directions. The mandap is supported by 16 poles, also representing specific deities or aspects of divinity. Similar to the architecture of ancient Indian dwellings, there are 12 outer poles, a number associated with the 12 divisions of the heavenly zodiac and 12 months of the year. The 4 inner poles are the key positions for Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, who is also said to be Shiva, and Indra. Four altars, or Vedi, are established at the corners of the building. These Vedi are miniature mandal, each one a decorative matrix describing the universe from a different perspective. The Kshetrapal Vedi occupies the northwest corner. 49 benevolent protector deities of the universal fields occupy the altar. They rest on beds of betel nut. The 9 Graha Vedi occupies the northeast corner. These are the heavenly bodies, the universal dome, including the sun and the moon, that represent the Vedic universe. 44 gods and goddesses are also installed on this Vedi of the planets, each god portrayed by a small ball made from betel nut. Adjacent to the Graha Vedi is a special kalash for Ashankyati Rudra, a Vedi representing the innumerable forms of Rudra. The 64 Yogini Vedi occupies the southeast corner. These are 64 manifestations of divine femininity, the goddess in powerful and benevolent forms. The Vastu Mandal Vedi, the ancient matrix of temple, home, and universe, occupies the southwest corner. Upon a cosmic grid of 64 squares, 63 gods of universal creation are invited. It was the choice of the community to dedicate their yagya ceremony to the feminine aspect of divinity. Appropriately, the Mahavedi, the main Vedi, is dedicated to 3 goddesses, 3 Mahadevi. The location is the auspicious center of the eastern wall of the mandap. Durga is the central figure, and her praise is sung each day. At the core of the universe, at the center of the mandap mandal, is located the Yagya Kund, the divine womb. Here the sacred fire is tended, the seed is placed, and creation begins. "16 flags are raised along the perimeter. Their swaying in the breeze announces to all that the deities are in place, that all aspects of the divine are present and active. The largest flag of the mandap is established next to the Graha Vedi, the Vedi of the planets. This Mahadvaj is either red, the color of Agni, the god of fire, or depicted with 5 colors, underlying the many aspects of the divine presence. The number 5 has many meanings. It also symbolizes the 5 elements of the universe: ether, the all-pervasive element, air, fire, water, and earth. The mandal is complete with all facets of nature. Several other aspects of the mandal are produced outside the mandap. The most important of these items are a wooden plank, the Panchanga Vedi, and a clay bowl, which establishes the presence of Ganesh, the elephant-headed god of auspiciousness and good beginnings. Most appropriately, it is with the establishment of Ganesh that the inaugural ceremony begins. The central actors of this performance and the forthcoming 9 days of fire ceremony, other than Brahmin priests, are a respected married couple who are carefully chosen to represent the males and females of the community. The couple are known as the Judgman.
Through the process of yajna, the community recreates Brahmand and invokes all gods to come and live in the yajna mandap. Each of the bamboo columns and each of the earthen pots represent the different gods and goddesses, the different spirits of nature. During the time of the yajna, the mandap becomes sacred like Brahmand, a universe where all the gods are living. The yajna cannot be performed without a yajman. So the yajna, there will be priests, and then there has to be a yajman who will do the sankalp and who will be the prime mover in the whole process. And this yajman has to be a married person. Means both wife and husband have to sit as yajman. And the yajman could be of Kshatriya, Vaishya and other castes. So in our case, the yajman was a Vaishya who belonged to the trading community, and he is a very spiritual person and lives his life consciously, and his wife too. So we requested him to be the yajman. It is a big responsibility, and he gladly accepted it, and he caused the yajna to be done.
Saraswati Kaveri Krishna Ganga Deva Mahate Davi Godavari Jaiva Mahendri Nanda Daja Vidaja Dananda Sarvada Divyamyan Dirdhani Kalshandani Mahatani Mai Sarve Samudraha Sarva Jilani Vindhan Ayantam Shantartham Durtak Jayakarika Hari Vedo Yurveda Sam Vedo Angaya Sandhar Veda Sam Samavada Hatma Gayatri Savitri Savitri Ayantam Shantartham
The universal force now present in the manda produces the cosmic heat of creation. The fire in the womb of the mandal is lit and nurtured for 9 days.
The community worships the Yagya Mandap as God. Men and women, boys and girls worship Yagya Bhagavan as they worship Hanumanji or any other god. The people will respectfully walk around the mandap and do the parikrama. Darshan is a part of our total spiritual process. All the senses are involved. Darshan is seeing the God with respect and bhakti, devotion. The physical form of the God sublimates before the eyes of the bhakt, and the sublime divinity is soaked and absorbed. The sublime divinity grants us happiness in the form of bhukti and mukti, a good life and salvation. For me, standing before Hanumanji for his darshan is an experience not describable in words. It is a fulfillment of my religious life. I try to talk to him, surrender to his feet with all my failings and achievements, successes and failures. I beg for his grace and kindness, ask for strength for playing my role nicely in the drama of this visible world. In this whole process, some days the sublime divinity is experienced. Darshan transfuses divinity into my mortal being. The temple, surroundings and all other things between Sankat Mochan Hanumanji and me disappear. Devotional participation in Ram Leela and Krishna Leela give the same experience which darshan of Sankat Mochan Hanumanji gives to me. Before me, I see the living God. Leela has several meanings. Leela is the play of God, his drama, when he or she incarnates on earth. Leela is also the word we use for our ritual dramatization of the story of God. So the Ram Leela is the dramatization of Ram, and the Krishna Leela or Ras Leela is the dramatization of Krishna. During the performances of Leela, we see the spirit of divinity in the Swarup, the young boys who play the roles of the gods. We believe that God is there. we seek his darshan. The Ram Leela, the Krishna Leela and the Ras Leela of Vrindavan often emphasize the theme that all men and women, no matter their background, find salvation in God and are united in God. We are all one with nature. One common story often dramatized in the Ras Leela of Vrindavan is the friendship between Lord Krishna and Sudama. The boyhood friends meet once again in adulthood, but now Lord Krishna is king and Sudama is poor. But these differences do not matter. God's love breaches all differences.
भैया कृष्ण बात ये है आपकी भाभी ने भेंट में यह दरिद्रता
Lord Krishna graciously accepts a humble offering from Sudama and takes his boyhood friend to heart.
कि आपकी यह 56 कोट यादवन की जनसभा है या मैं 56 कोट यदवंशी विद्यमान है मैं इन 4 तंदुरस्त को आपको भेंट
The Ram Leela and Krishna Leela which were started by Tulsidas ji are the performances where the whole community participates, even the audience participates. The Leela is organized, arranged by the whole community. Even Muslim people take part in the Leela and the sadhus participate, the children participate, the women and men, they both are the spectators, the darshaks, and the Leela is done in a manner that it gives them the message of devotion and love for the God and guides the people in living their life. So it is a very novel way of joining, uniting the community and giving them the eternal message, the message to live a happy life and to be good to the nature and to the people. Makhanchori Leela gives a very special message to all of us. Lord Krishna, as a very young boy, whom the neighborhood, the Sakhis and the Yadavs were not knowing who this young boy is. So he was going to all the houses with his friends, young friends, and he was taking the makhan, the butter from the different houses. He was stealing the butter and thereby kind of trying to steal their heart and meet the Lord Krishna.
Tying jugs from the highest branches of tall trees, the women folk of Vrindavan do their best to conceal their butter from the playful boy Krishna. But nothing can be concealed from God. Getting by with a little help from his friends, Krishna always reaches the butter. As in life, he shares his wealth with all. No one is left out. This is his prasad, his gift and our sustenance. As the slapstick comedy portrays, it is we, mankind, who occasionally mismanage his gift.
The Ras Leela of Vrindavan often dramatizes the unity of community, which is established during our important springtime festival of Holi. As Krishna ji is carried into the Leela audience, he showers the public with colorful flowers, lavishly spreading his love to all. Krishna ji makes no consideration of caste, age, gender or other differences. This is his festival of love.
For 9 days, the fire of the yagya was tended, and the famous Sanskrit text praising the goddess, the Durga Saptashati, was chanted. Simultaneously, each morning, the dramas of the boy god Ram were performed. Each evening, the dramas of the boy god Krishna were performed. The performances of the stage, similar to the ceremonial fire of the yagya, were never ending. Each afternoon, between the morning and evening dramas, Brahmin storytellers, the Katavachik, held the community captivated with the songs and tales of Ram and Krishna, often reciting with great passion the texts of Tulsi.
The story of Ram is the story of the Almighty, who in the form of a boy, a human being, sets an example for us all. Using the goodness inherent in each and every human being, he unites all living beings and nature and brings harmony to this world. The unity of God's love is ever present in the Leela of Ram. The Ramayana describes Ramji as Maryada Purushottam, the ideal man. We learn of his humility. At the start of his journey to the jungle, Ramji meets the Nishadaraj, the boatman king, a lowly tribal outside the noble order of the four Varuna. Despite his low standing, the Nishadaraj recognizes the beauty of Ram. Ramji embraces the Nishadaraj in true friendship and raises him to glory.
मारीच मरते मरते मर गया लेकिन मेरा काम पूरा कर गया.
In the Ram Leela, the courageous bird Jatayu unselfishly gives his life in an attempt to free Sita from the hands of the demon king Ravan. As a vulture, Jatayu is ranked very low in the social order of creatures. But Ramji's gratefulness knows no high, no low. For his loving devotion, for his sincere sacrifice, the dying bird is tenderly held by Ramji and granted moksha. In his journey through the jungles of India, Ram defeats the evil Rakshasas and brings harmony to the man and nature. He visits many ashrams where Brahman and Rishi are performing the yagya, meditating and studying. At one ashram, he only meets the lowly tribal woman Shabari. Shabari, a tribal woman, has waited for Ram all of her life. She is the unparalleled example of bhakti, true devotion. Shabari is the true devotee. In the Leela drama, Shabari offers Ramji food. Ramji accepts her offerings, which are given in love. And before all others in her ashram, Shabari receives salvation. It is Shabari who advises Ramji to go to the kingdom of the monkeys. There he meets with his greatest devotee, Hanumanji. Hanumanji is the embodiment of unparalleled love, intellect, knowledge and power. The union of Ramji and Hanumanji unites all Sattvic Shakti, the bright forces of goodness, purity and intellect found in nature and all living beings. United, they overcome the dark forces, Tamasi Shakti, ignorance and immorality, which are bent on destroying the world.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
At the close of the Leela, we all rush to the stage to take the Aarti of God. Mahant and boatmen, men and women, everyone to touch God's feet. We pass our hands over the flame and feel His warmth.
community is joined together in the symbolism and finale of the Leela, in a celebration of procreation known as the Kumari Puja. The young daughters of the community are united within the mandap of the fire ceremony.
The Kumari Puja is a very powerful spiritual practice, and the belief is that if you choose 9 girls who are young, below the age of puberty, and then treat them as goddesses, we invoke the 9 goddesses to come in these young girls. And the best is to choose these 9 girls from all the castes and then treat them as goddess and do the puja as we do to God. It is a very, very powerful puja which we do.
After 7 days of fire ceremony and chanting the Durga Saptashati, the sacred water from the Ganges is collected from the ceremonial water jugs and returned to the holy river. The bhakti of Tulsidas, the devotion of the community, enters the Yagya Mandap.
Saguna upasaka kahu munisa munimaya kahu naya padasisa saguna upasaka kahu munisa Rama bhagati jalam.
Men from different sectors of the community will chant the texts of Tulsi, the Ramcharitmanas and the Hanuman Chalisa, 40 stanzas praising the attributes of Hanuman. Women from different sectors of the community will perform devotional songs and chants known as bhajan and kirtan.
The ladies, the women of our neighborhood have organized themselves into a society which is called Mahila Mandal. Mahila is women, so women's circle, that is the meaning. Every Friday they choose a place, the house of one of its members. They do chanting, recitation of Ramcharitmanas, recitation of Gita, and they do kirtan. They sing, sometimes they dance. Every full moon they come to Tulsi Ghat and they do the chanting at the place where Tulsidas ji was living. Sometimes they go to Sankat Mochan and they do the kirtan in the temple, just offer their kirtan to Sankat Mochan Hanuman ji. For the benefit of all people, Tulsidas ji wrote in the Hindi vernacular. He completed the writing of the Ramcharitmanas at his home on the bank of the Ganga, Tulsi Ghat in Banaras. Here he made his text available to everyone by starting the storytelling tradition of Ram Katha and the drama tradition of Ram Leela. Tulsidas ji has told us that the name Ram is a story and the ever-flowing Ganga give us bhukti and mukti, good life and salvation. The message radiating from all his work is the message of harmony and love between the Char and the Achar, all living forms and nature, the waning and waxing moon, the good and the bad, the light and the darkness, the Char and the Achar, all together they constitute the world. They are interwoven as elements of one big matrix. Ram, the source of eternal happiness, is the unifying factor at the root of this matrix. When the harmony of this world is disturbed, Ram manifests himself for the sake of all of us, and harmony is restored. Trees, plants, rivers, mountains, birds, man and animals, all of nature must live in peace, in mutual respect. We are all one in Brahman. Goswami Tulsidas was a saint and poet of the 15th and 16th century who dived deep into the Indian tradition and knowledge stored in the Vedas. With that knowledge, he wrote the Ramcharitmanas. Through his Manas flows the nectar of Ram Bhakti, the devotion of Ram, which, like the flowing Ganga, is the source of happiness to all. Today, the powerful and enchanting message of love and harmony found in the Ramcharitmanas, the essence of Indian tradition and Vedas, pervades all over India and especially in the north. This message provides sustenance and guidance to the millions who have come in contact with the book, which is sung and dramatized all over. Tulsidas ji's message and ideals were not out of reach, not utopian. His life story is an example of man's search for harmony in brotherhood, nature and God.
10 दिन हो गए, 10 दिन
दिन से हम लोगों का हनुमान जी महाराज के दरबार की ऐसी सेवा की है, हनुमान जी की ऐसी सेवा की है कि हनुमान जी प्रसन्न हैं और काशीवासी प्रसन्न हैं। हम उनके आभारी हैं। हमारे पास शब्द नहीं है जिससे कि हम उनके प्रति अपना आभार व्यक्त कर सकते हैं। वो कष्ट सह के आए, वो किसी और कोई उनके मन में बात ही नहीं थी। हम जानते हैं कि वो कैसे आए हैं और कैसे हनुमान जी महाराज की सेवा किए हैं। बस हम लोगों ने उनके प्रति अपना आदर भाव प्रस्तुत किया है, अपने मन के उद्गार हैं, और हम लोग उनकी सेवा में कुछ नहीं प्रस्तुत कर सके हैं। और आप इतने प्रसन्न हैं कि आपके चारों तरफ प्रसन्नता एकदम बिखरती रहती है, आपसे प्रसन्नता का उद्रेक होता है। हम तो आपके ऐसे पूरे व्यक्तित्व को देख करके ही प्रसन्न रहते हैं, ऐसे ही भक्त होते हैं। और हनुमान जी महाराज आप सब लोगों को ऐसे आनंद करें, वो आपके जीवन में भी ऐसे सुख सौख्य का विस्तार करें, और आप ऐसे ही जो है सरकार की सेवा, हमारे भगवान राधा माधव की ऐसी सेवा करते रहें, राम जी की ऐसी सेवा करते रहें, और हमारे जैसे श्रद्धालु जनों को ऐसे ही सन्मार्ग पर लगाते रहें। इन्हीं शब्दों से हम अपने ये कुछ वचन इनकी सेवा में, हनुमान जी की सेवा में प्रस्तुत करते हैं।
असवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसराम। अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चितन धरई, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सतबार पाठ कर कोई, छूटे बंद महासुख होई। जो ये पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्ध साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय में डेरा। कीजय नाथ हृदय में डेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, पवन तनय संकट हरन। मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसो सुरभूप।
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful.